Right. Hello, everybody. It's Sherry Fredericks, and welcome to our weekly Dream Achievers call. I'm so glad you're here. We have a special guest right below me. It's our VP of Sales, Stacy Sova, and I will officially introduce her when we get to that point of the meeting. But welcome, everybody. I'm sure there are many ways you could have spent your time, and we're glad you're here with us for the next half hour. So, in true Tastefully Simple style, let's start out with some victories. Who wants to share a victory, please? Don't be shy.
I can go. I just closed a $560 party yesterday.
Yay! Congratulations, Sheila. Was it in person or online?
It was in person last week.
Yay! I bet it was fun.
It was a lot of fun.
What did they say? Anything in particular? Like, oh, I haven't. She a past host? Were they new people?
Oh, no, she's a past host. This is probably her fourth party.
Okay.
Yeah, turned out great.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. That's super
Thanks.
fun. Yeah. Anybody else? So great tasting party for Sheila.
I just held my first Zoom call with my team. Sheila showed up and one other person, but I had a really good chat with the one person, but my three new people that I really wanted to come on didn't join us. But I learned about the murder mystery that some people are doing as a party. So it's kind of interesting.
Oh, interesting. Well, if we have time, you can talk about that later. But Twyla, congratulations on doing a Zoom call with your team. That's fantastic. I'm very proud of you. And you'll get those three people, or you'll try. And if they don't, you can only play tennis when they hit the ball back, right? Yeah. So keep up your great leadership. I'm proud of you. Well, welcome, Gail. We are just doing victories. Rebecca, Christy, Shelley, Gail, do you have any business-related victories you want to share with us? We'd love to hear. Big or small?
No, I'm busy trying to build my team. I've had a couple really good people that are ready to retire from another company reach out to me that are looking to bring their expertise to us and join my team. So I am busy working on that and unpacking. I'm getting settled, but yes, I'm plugging away, working on things.
Get them going, Gail. This is the best time of the year.
Yes.
I was going to share my victories with Sherry Rourke. She's got the same name as me. And she joined like September, I don't know, the end of September. We did her first online party the beginning of October. She did her own online party. She just hit 2,000 in 1 month. So how cool is that? So, I mean, it definitely helps that, this is the time of the year, right? So, Gail, I share that to say, get those people signed up. Get them taking advantage of this wonderful time of the year. Okay, last call. Anybody else want to share anything? All right, well, then we're going to move on to some announcements, and we're going to do product knowledge, and then we're going to go to Stacy. So, just to remind you, if you didn't see the 40% of Vista, that's today and tomorrow. Remember, business cards, table runners, signs, logo wear. Any questions on that? Good time to stock up on that kind of stuff. I know a lot of you saw our November Operation Taste Testing. Each of you have a chance at winning. Well, there's going to be one $50 Visa gift card, but one tasting party. Okay, it can be in a home, it can be in a bar, you can do an open house. I mean, you can self-host it, but it needs to be a tasting party with people around. So just look at that, and hopefully you can participate. How about that Halloween code? Has anybody been having fun with that? It goes till tomorrow, right? $10 off of 60, $20 off of 100. And here's a tip for you. If you have a team, they maybe don't realize that. So don't be afraid to private message them and say, hey, did you see this code? Because I've talked to a couple people. I always reach out to people that need to, get to that next payday because they're like $100 away or whatever. And I can't remember her name. And I said, hey, did you see the code? She goes, what code? So those of us here on this call are pretty engaged, like really engaged, but dang it, not everybody is. So don't be afraid to reach out to your people. They just have to have TS connected, and they may not realize the code. All right. If you didn't watch Brittany Vickery's Monday Jumpstart, she did a great job about gift giving. And you could actually, I don't know, I wonder if some of you may listen to that on your way to work, right? I mean, you can just click on it and while you're doing the dishes or whatever. So try to check that out. And then lastly, before I get into product knowledge, this was in the leader Jumpstart or leader blast, is you and your teams want to book your January now, right? Consultants that are successful for January have their January pretty much booked by Thanksgiving. And you may say, how is that possible? Well, you're going to ask. And even though we can't say exactly what's going on in January, Stacy says, Girl Scout honor or whatever that is, I'm just kidding, that it's going to be really good. So get it penciled in. And remember, I think most of us, except for maybe Gail, live in the Midwest where it can get snowy. I remember one year I had 10 tasting parties. This was before online parties were a thing. And I only ended up doing 3. But a lot of them rescheduled, but it was the blizzards and it was flu. So don't be afraid to overbook. So if your goal is 4, your goal is 6, book more, and then you'll have a great January. There's nothing, as you guys hear me say this all the time, taking off for Christmas, opening up your January and go, hey, I've got something to come back to. So any questions on that? I tell you that all the time, so that's why you're kind of glazed over. Okay, let's move to product knowledge. I decided to do the product knowledge myself, and I apologize. I got all those crates in the back. I got the holiday crafters tours this weekend. That's how Tastefully Simple started. You know the story of Jill and selling Tastefully Simple in homes and Alex. So anyway, I'm getting ready to load that stuff up with product. But okay, product knowledge segment. I'm going to talk about this amazing dips to dinner. And I went live on my parties last week and I shared my 3 favorite products in the fall winter catalog. And this is one of them. I sold tons of these last fall. Did anybody else? Like at events or parties? Okay, here's the key. You have to have it with you and you have to talk about it. So who here needs to give gifts to those people that are so hard to buy for, right? It's like either they have everything or you're like, I don't even know what they want. And you want to give them something they're going to like, right? So dips to dinner, it's under $30. If I'm at a party, that's what I say. If I'm at an event, it's like $34.99 with the shipping. I say, hey, 10 products under $35. So artichoke and spinach dip, they can make it as a dip or they can make it as dinner. 10 products. Wouldn't that be fun? I've had people buy like 5 of them and they always buy one for themselves. And then just so you know, this year, and I'm looking at it just to double check I'm right, there is not a dessert. So last year there was a dessert in here, which is fine. This year there's not. But what a great way to try 10 Tastefully Simple products. What a great way to give someone 10 meal ideas. What a fantastic gift. So dips to dinner under $30. Anybody want to add anything to that? No. But the key is, obviously you have it open at your events and I'll welcome someone into my booth with an Oh My Chai and then I'll say, hey, or whatever else I say. And they say, I got to show you one of my favorite new products. And you have to talk about it. And just like at tasting parties, otherwise they don't get it. So, it's $29.99. It's a nice priced item. So, okay. Well, let's move on to our speaker. And Stacy Sova is Vice President of Sales. She's going to talk about sponsoring, which I love. Did you know that Tastefully Simple, Stacy has been with Tastefully Simple for 3 years?
I know, crazy, huh?
The time has gone fast. And we asked Stacy her favorite product in the new line. Perhaps this is some of your favorite product as well. The Cheesy Chive Warm Dip Mix. And here's a fun fact about Stacy, and I can so see you doing this. She said, I was a cheerleader for a year at the University of Michigan. So go, Stacy. I bet you were a great cheerleader.
Well, I don't know. I only did it for 1 year because I might not have stayed in college if I would have kept doing it because it really took a lot of time and was hard to keep up with everything. So
I bet. Well, what a fun experience though. Good for you.
yeah. So thanks, Sherry. I almost put this to dinner as my favorite. It was a toss up for all the reasons that you said. And it's just I have to buy 5 of them for gifts for my mother-in-law, 2 sister-in-laws, my sister, and my niece when we go back to Michigan for Christmas, because it's just perfect. It's just such a perfect gift, and the price point is right on. So for all those things you said, and then also, I think when you talk about that, it's just great to lead into, I think a lot of people are like me, and I forget about those last minute gifts, like your UPS driver, if you have someone who walks your dogs or whatever, things that helps with the kids or whatever. Like to have not necessarily dips to dinner because that's more expensive, but we have so many price points that are so great for those last minute gifts. And especially like when you get invited to somebody's house, and you feel like, oh, I don't want to come empty handed, but I don't want to take a bottle of wine because everybody does that. Like you have the perfect solutions, with so many of our products. So, but that's not what I'm here to talk to you about, but thanks, Sherry. So
Yeah.
I get to talk about the thing that I'm most passionate about, which is sponsoring. I don't think it's a secret to any of you that this industry changed my life. I was a school teacher before I got introduced to the industry, and I had absolutely no intention to ever do a party, let alone sponsor anybody. Was that any of you when you first joined? I just wanted the products of the company I signed up for. That was it. And then, I did what my sponsor told me to do. And some of you may know my upline was Connie Ashburn, several levels up from me. And when she saw a little something in me, and she didn't let it go. She didn't give up on me. And, so I learned a lot from her and others. But the reality is sponsoring is a mindset, plain and simple. It's a mindset. And what the mindset is it comes down to your belief. Do you believe that you have the greatest opportunity, the greatest product, and great things are happening to you because of your business? Because when you believe that, you can't help but share it. And you've heard me say things like a good book, a good movie, a good restaurant. We tell our friends, we post on Facebook, oh my gosh, I was just at this restaurant. They have the best fish tacos. You have to check them out. Does that restaurant give you anything for that? Nope. But if you feel that way about your business, you want to have that same exuberance and enthusiasm. So it comes down to belief. And so I won't have time to ask everybody this question, but I would love for a few of you to play along with me. First of all, everyone can answer this question just by a raise of hands. How many of you love your business? How many of you love Tastefully Simple? Just by a show of hands. Okay, everybody I can see has their hand up, but that's a great start. So that's a really good start. Tell me, what do you love most about Tastefully Simple, about your business? What do you love most? Those 2 people.
Well, Lisa, oh,
Go ahead, Gail.
well, I haven't been in very long, but I joined because I like to cook. That's just me in the kitchen. And I love the products. They're just so easy to use. And I love all the different recipes and how to change it up. But yeah, and I mean, I joined for different reasons. But yeah, I have an upline with Sherry and Anna that have not given up on me because I moved in the middle of joining. But yeah, there is a lot of potential with this company, and sponsoring is one of them. And that is part of my background. So yeah, you have to love what you do. And I love this company. I really do. I'm so glad I joined.
That's so great to hear. So what I hear you saying is that you love the products. So the products are a big part of why you're here. You believe in the company and the opportunity that you have, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you wouldn't want anyone to take that away from you, right?
No.
Okay, good. All right, perfect. One more. What do you love?
Cash, money.
Yes. Okay, so you love the money that you can make, Rebecca, right? And how would you feel if I took that away from you?
Pretty bad. Would be paying for things that it's paying for.
Exactly. Exactly. And so that's what I want you to think about, because here's the reality, you guys. you love, and I'm sure all of you have an answer, and they're probably all very similar. I love the money I make, maybe the things that I'm able to do for my family. I love the food and the opportunities that it gives me. You know, our answers are somewhere in there, and you're passionate about it and you love it. And I asked the question, how would you feel if I took it away? And I hope you kind of went, why in the heck is she asking me that question? I don't like that question, right? Because that tells me that you are committed, that you believe in this company. So here's the deal, you guys. When there's millions of men and women out there looking for the same kind of fulfillment that you're getting from your Tastefully Simple business. And when you don't share this with others and let them decide if this is a fit for them, you're making a decision for them. And this may sound harsh, but that's not your right to make that decision. It's their opportunity to decide. It's like going through the drive-through and they ask you if you want a milkshake and you're there for a coffee, right? You don't get mad at the person for asking you if you want a milkshake. They're just asking you a question and you get to decide. They're doing their job. Maybe a better analogy is whenever you go out to dinner, no matter how big of a meal you get, an all-you-can-eat platter, right? They ask you if you want dessert, don't they? They don't assume you're full. They ask you if you want dessert, because there's always room for ice cream, right? We know that. But so you get to decide if that's for you. But every time that we don't ask or we don't teach our teams to ask, we're not fully doing our job, because there's people that go to bed at night praying for something to change in their life, praying for that extra few $100s or whatever the case may be, somewhere where they belong, somewhere where they feel part of it. And every time we decide, I'm not going to ask Sherry because I'm too nervous, or she might say no. I'm making it about me and not about Sherry, because when we go out in the world, we put ourselves together, right? We may not always be all together on the inside. We may be worried about a million things that are happening in our lives, but to the outside, we look pretty put together. So we can never assume that those people don't need what we have. So here's the thing, is that your job is to ask. And so I want to give you some word choices that y'all are great leaders. And I know you do these things, but maybe some things to share with your teams to help build their confidence as well. But you get to pick your team. Now, you just heard me say that you should ask everybody. I'm going to tell you an honest to goodness little truth here, that sometimes I didn't ask everyone, and I'll tell you why. Because I get to pick my team. So if I was I know how much Sherry loves in-person parties. I love in-person parties. And I think people are ready for in-person parties and to get together. But if I'm sitting there and I've got 10 people in the room and I've got Krabby Patty over there in the corner complaining about everything, I may or may not ask her, because I get to pick who I get to work with. And I loved my team. I had a fun team. I had an outgoing team. I had all of these things because I looked for those qualities in people, which is going to lead me to what I want to talk to you about. How do you ask? Well, there's a couple ways. First of all, when I was first teaching, like maybe onboarding new people who came on, I would teach them word choices because they were always afraid of the no, right? How many of us love to hear the word no? Nobody, right? We all know all the sayings. Every no you get gets you closer to a yes. And that's true. That's absolutely true. But none of us like rejection. Let's face it, right? So usually it's the fear of rejection that stops us from asking, especially for the newest people who are getting started. So what I want to encourage you to say and encourage you to teach your newest consultants is something like, I have some questions to ask you as we're checking out. I'm going to ask you if you want to take advantage of our client special this month. I'm going to ask you if you want to get free products like Sherry, our host today. And I'm going to ask you if you want to do what I do, because I love what I do. And I want to ask everybody these questions. So if I don't ask you these questions at checkout, I'm going to have to give you a gift. Now, that was a way of me holding myself accountable. I started out back in the day by saying free shipping. One person called me out on that, and it was 20% of the total. And I was like, well, crap, I'm never doing that again, right? So I kind of held myself accountable to asking, but we've got samples. That's what we have samples for. So then once you set that up in your party, and you could even do it in an online party, you could have a graphic that says that. And then when you check out with them, you can say, okay, now just like I promised you, I have 3 questions to ask you. You know, when you get to $60, you're going to qualify for this great special at $6. Would you like to take advantage of it? You're really, you know, you're so close to that amount, or whatever you would do at that point. Now, my second question is, and then go through your questions. Because if I don't ask you these questions, then I have to give you a gift. And I remember people saying, shoot, I was hoping you were going to forget because I want to know what the gift is. So I gave myself permission to ask those questions. Now, the other thing that you can do is just simply say, you know, I love what I do and I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't invite you to learn more about what I do. Have you ever considered doing something like this? That's one way to ask. Another way to ask that I really like the best, and my cat is going to come make his presence known. I apologize. There he goes. He does this to me when he's going to sit back there and yes, he wants a little attention. He's a cat dog. He's ginormous. Is to truly find something about that person. So a moment ago when I said, you know, if Krabby Patty's in the corner, I mean, sometimes maybe she needs to be asked. Maybe she needs a little fun in her life. But the reality is I'm looking for those people who have all the qualities of people that I love to work with, right? They're smiling, they're nodding, they're friendly, they're outgoing, they know everybody in the room, they're engaging with me, right? And if you're online, that might be the person who's replying to all the posts. That's the person who's playing the games. That's the person who's doing those things. Someone comes into your booth and they're not just there for the free samples. They're actually talking to you and they're smiling and engaging with you. You pay them a genuine compliment. So I would say something, you know, Sherry, I love what I do. And I love that I get to work with some of the most fun people. And you were so much fun tonight. You were engaging with me. You were answering questions. You were playing the games. And I just love that about you. I would love the opportunity to get to work with you. Have you ever thought about doing something like this? And usually they'll say, not really. Every once in a while, you'll get a, yeah, I kind of did. Or sometimes you even get the best answer, which is, oh my God, people ask me that all the time. That means other people have seen the same qualities in them, right? And, you know, you don't have to go into the whole spiel there. You're like, Sherry, I'd love to share more with you. How about if we just schedule 10 minutes to connect by phone or coffee or whatever you decide to do? But truly paying that person a genuine compliment. What do you see in them that they bring to the table that not only would you love to work with, but that they would be such a great representative of our company, you know, and paying that true compliment to them and inviting them, would you be willing to sit down with me for just like 10 minutes? I'd love to share more information with you. So it's looking for that good in others, because wouldn't we all love to hear that? Wouldn't you love to hear that somebody thinks you're fun and outgoing and friendly and you're smiling and you're like, oh my gosh, good. Because you know, we don't always have all great days, right? And especially when we're wives and moms and we work, we don't get a lot of compliments for cleaning the house, making dinner, running the kids everywhere and all the things. So to hear something good about us. So I really want to encourage you to, first of all, think about not only, I want you to relate this to your teams, but yourself. It starts with you and your belief. What is your belief? What do you love most about this company? And what would you be so mad at me if I took away from you today, right? What is it that you love about your company? And then I want you to think about, you know, how will you ask people? What feels the most comfortable to you? But I'm going to encourage you to ask, I'm going to qualify and say almost everybody that you come in contact with, right? So I want you to encourage, how will I ask everybody? The best people to start with are your hosts. They already like you and they like the products. They are the best people to start with. You know that just this industry statistic is 1 in 4 hosts will join you when asked. So I want you to think about that and what word choices will you use? And here's the other thing that happens is when you start asking people, Sherry's going into this event, if she starts using this language, which I know she does because she's a pro, and she's asking people and someone's standing over here in the corner and they're checking out her display and they're listening to her, but Sherry doesn't ask them, they're going to go, why didn't she ask me? What doesn't she see in me? So that also helps you to feel accountable to asking everyone you come in touch with, because you're going to get no's and none of us like no's. But every time you get a no, you get a little bit more confident, a little bit better at your verbiage, and you will succeed. I want to share with you a success story. We've done lots of calls with leaders over this last month. We do a lot of calls anyway, but we were talking with some of our top sponsors in September, some of our leaders who are getting growth bonuses, asking them what they're doing that is working. And Heather Bollinger sponsored 11 people in September. And I asked her, and she said, it's funny because I knew you were going to ask me this question, Stacy. I think she's done some calls with me before. I asked her, how many people do you think you asked to get 11? What would you guys guess before I tell you the answer? How many people do you think she asked to get 11 people to say yes? And 6 of those were returning, which we'll talk about in a minute.
50.
Okay, 50. Any other guesses?
I was gonna say 50 as well.
It's
50.
usually 1 in 10, so wouldn't it have to be like a lot? Like 11 times 10?
And you're right, that is the statistic. She asked about 80. And I'm going to tell you the reason why her number was a little bit lower than your exactly where you were going, Rebecca, is because we had an incentive. So it was a smidge easier, right? But in a normal month, Rebecca, she probably would have had to ask 100 to 110 people to get 11 to say yes. That's a lot of no's, isn't it? I said, what kept you going? She said, because I'm determined. I know I have a great opportunity and I'm going to keep asking because I know there's people out there that want what I have. And that was the difference. She was willing to get, well, don't make me do math this late at night, but over 65 no's to get to her 11 yeses, right? So I tell you that to say, this is the kind of message you want to be sharing. I'm so sorry. He's so bad right now with your teams. Because it's just, that's just how it is. It's not a personal thing for us. And when someone says no, I would say, okay, Sherry, I totally respect that. Does that mean no, not now, or no, not ever? And, you know, she's going to probably say, you know what? It just means no, not now. The holidays are coming. I'm too busy. I can't even think about it. Great. Would you be okay if I followed up with you in January and I get permission to follow up? And it's all about start practicing this yourself. And your team will follow because you can share your successes just like Sherry shares her successes with this team. What works at parties, she tells you. I know she does. And this works the same way. And the last thing I want to say, because I know I'm running short on time, is, and Sherry knows this, we shared with the Diamonds, of our sponsoring incentive that we did in September, 44% of the people who joined us had been Tastefully Simple consultants before. And that's fine. I kind of thought it would have been around 20%. I was surprised it was that high. So anyone who brought in people who were consultants before, I've encouraged them to ask them, tell me what's different this time. What are you going to do differently this time? Or how can I help you to be more successful this time or to achieve your goals this time? So you just want to have those conversations. But the reason why I bring that up here is because I want to encourage you to ask new people. I want you to ask people you've never asked before, because it's easier, it's a little warmer to go back to people you've asked before. Now, especially if you have permission to go back to them, by all means do it. But if you're just going through your list going, I think I'm going to ask her again, I'm going to encourage you to ask people you've never asked before. I'm going to encourage you at those events when you meet new people and you get their contact information. I know it might be busy at the event. When you follow up, to use some of those word choices. When they filled that form, right on the back, cute redhead, outgoing, smiling. So you can remember and you say, oh my gosh, Sherry, you made an impression on me. You were so excited and happy in my booth. I just wanted to reach out to you. And here's my services that I can offer you. And you offer the business as one of the services. I want you to make a list. And this is my challenge to you. In the next week, I want you to reach out to 10 people you've never offered the business to before. They can be new clients, they can be past hosts, they can be existing hosts, they can be whoever it is that you've not asked before. I'm even going to encourage you to think of people in your life, friends, family, coworkers, neighbors, people who you see qualities in that you're like, dang, I'd love to work with her. And I'm going to challenge you to reach out to them and say, Rebecca, you know, we've been neighbors for a long time. I love you. I respect you. I have so much fun with you. You know that I sell Tastefully Simple. I don't know if you've ever thought about doing something like this before, but I sure as heck would love the opportunity to be partners together in this. Would you be willing to learn more? So that's my challenge to you, 10 new people. And when you do it, I want you to either let Sherry know or email me, whatever, text me, whatever the case may be. Let me know when you invite 10 new people, because I want to hear from you. And that's what I have for you tonight, Sherry.
Yay! I love it. Stacy, you should share your email on the bottom here. Can you do that?
Okay, you want to put it in the chat?
Yeah, so people can, I mean, you can message me too, but I know how much
For
Stacy,
sure.
I know how much Stacy would love to hear from each of you that do that. And just think, if you have an event this weekend, wow, it'd be easy to get 10 people or a party or whatever. Questions for Stacy?
I put my email and my phone number in there.
Yeah,
If you'd like
they
to
can
text,
text,
that's fine
yeah.
too. Mhm.
Any questions for Stacy?
Did you get oh, good,
Oh,
Rebecca.
Rebecca, yeah.
I've had 2 people join recently. One I had been working with as a host, so that wasn't a surprise, but the other one it was like out of the blue, which is fun and awesome, but neither of them are responding to any calls, texts, emails. What would you recommend in that instance? I mean, I'm not giving up on them, but I can't hold hands either.
No, you can't. It's like Sherry said, you know, you hit the tennis ball, they've got to hit it back. You do want to give them a chance. Have you personally tried calling them?
Yeah, I've called both of them.
Okay, good. That's good, because I think that's one step, is to have that personal, like, you know, hey, I would, because kind of, you know, I might call one more time and say, you know, Rebecca, I just wanted to reach out again. I'm certainly not trying to be a pest. I know how busy life can be, but I'm a little worried about you. You signed up with us to get started, and we've got some great programs, and I just want to do my job to support you the best I can. So if you could just get back to me either way and let me know where you stand, that would be great. So just kind of put it out there, like, I don't want to bug you, but my job is to support you. So I need to know what you're thinking right now and how I can best support you. So, and maybe you've done that, but you know, try that. You can also reference the new Fast Start program, in that you want to make sure, you know, they've got 10 weeks and you want to maximize that. And there's no better time than right now, especially for their own gift giving. So, but you know, if you tried 3 times and you don't get a response, you know, there's only so much you can do. I always find that, you know, usually when I say something like, I'm worried about you, I haven't heard back, it doesn't seem like you, you know, you'll usually get some kind of a response from them, or I want to know how to meet you where you're at. So if you could just let me know. And then that's way, but I will tell you, Rebecca, like 80% of the time they come back and say, I'm so sorry. It's nothing personal. Life has just been crazy. And
Right.
we take on that burden, but usually it is something that's simple. So I would encourage you to just keep doing it. Try texting. People usually answer text the fastest. You know, you might.
Okay.
Mhm.
Great
will do that.
question. Great. I'm just going to stop the recording, but we can hang on.